Like, imagine being that guy with 250,000 subscribers and you're still known as amongst the group of failures in the Xenoverse community. Like, 250,000 subscribers. But people blame you and fault you and your group specifically as to why the Xenoverse 2 YouTube community isn't where it should be. Like, you're not a part of the Rhymestyle or Seereax community that people will always point to them and say, hey, they create really good and entertaining content, let's watch them. No, when people point to your group, and you specifically, Steedoj, people always say, oh, those guys create sucky content. They've been at this for like 4 years. Why don't they just go away? Because all they do is pop up during DLC. They create subpar content. They steal from everyone. They are just the worst examples of content creators on the YouTube platform, period. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna go in because it's time for, it's been a while since I've done this. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, perfectionists of all ages, Perfection proudly presents to you the Steedoj Exposed Tour. Yes, because it is time for that world tour. Now, I'm gonna let you know who Steedoj is. Steedoj is essentially the DSP of Dragon Ball gaming. For those of you that don't know who DSP is, it's Darksydephil. And what makes Steedoj just like Darksydephil is that he blames the games as to why he sucks at them. Like, it's never his fault for just being inept at the game, but it doesn't just stop there. He cries and cries about it on, and he wonders why people got fed up with his channel and stopped watching like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, that's where his numbers just fell off a goddamn cliff. And then, like, instead of accepting that there's just like advanced mechanics in the game that separate the average casual Xenoverse 2 player and the advanced players, Steedoj would just say that the advanced mechanics are glitches and are for cheaters. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine not knowing that key blast cancels are just essentially sidestep cancels from Rage and Blast 2, just with the extra step of having to throw a key blast first, and then not knowing how to get around key blast stunning. And yes, these are two mechanics that are intended because, like, several patches ago, like 2 years ago, they went and gave that very same ability to Android 16 when he didn't have it before. Okay, I've been unfair to Darksydephil because, as far as I know, at least Darksydephil doesn't fake donations to himself like Steedoj does. Yes, Steedoj, in every stream that he does, he will fake at least one donation to himself with some kind of absurd large amount. And yes, he faked a $2,500 donation to himself like 3 weeks ago. And he does this to rope and fool his young, impressionable, naive fan base into donating to him with their parents' hard-earned money. It's like the same psychology behind why YouTubers like him like fake their subscriber counts. It's because when people see that large number, it entices them to follow the leader. So when they see a person getting a $2,500 donation in a live stream, well, they say, well, hey, I want to give some money too. Let me give like $50 of my parents' money to this Xeno bum that doesn't want to go get a job. And it's the same reason behind why he fakes the subs. He'll fake those, like he did this like 2 or 3 years ago. He started faking his subs, like, as far as I know, back in 2019. That's where all those 200,000 subscribers came from, and he started faking his subs in order to get other people to subscribe just because they saw the 200,000 subscriber count. That's why all those people, all those kind of people, all those fake tubers do it. They want to fake those big numbers to mix in some real people, and it's basically a fake it till you make it psychology. But unfortunately for Steedoj, they got bored of his fraudulent and lame content, and they won't watch him, and they just won't unsub because they forget to. Not only that, but one of the main reasons people want him gone is because of his flagrant metadata abuse. Like, hold on, if you don't understand that, what I mean by that is that in his videos and his live streams that have nothing to do with DLC 14, zilch, nada to do with DLC 14, even on a discussion basis, on a contextual basis. It has nothing to do with DLC 14. He'll just put the metadata in his videos and live streams. And the reason that he does that is because over the course of his live stream, he's hoping that the algorithm will rank him for that. And he does that in order to keep the smaller content creators down. He's afraid of smaller creators that are more creative than him, more entertaining than him, more informative than him, that should actually be getting on that first page for DLC 14 or Xenoverse in general. He'll do that just to keep smaller creators down. And the reason that this affects the rest of us is that because YouTube won't punish him specifically, right? This hurts the rest of us on the platform because YouTube keeps making things like tags and description boxes less effective because of guys like Steedoj, Cabby, and Slow Plays. Like, YouTube has been finding tons of frauds like those guys who abuse the metadata system. So in an effort to address that issue, instead of punishing them specifically, they just make those tools like tags, description, style, they'll make those meaningless. And so they'll try to rely on their artificial intelligence systems. They'll try to rely on the words that you'll say in the video. They'll try to rely on the imagery because they're like, okay, people are just being asshats and putting stuff in their tags and descriptions and stuff that have nothing to do with video. So now we're gonna get smarter, which means that our AI system that's stupid and still in its learning phase will have to try to rank your video for whatever it is. So it hurts everyone. Everyone gets hurt because of people like Steedoj who lie because they're lazy and they don't want to actually create dynamic or new content. Like, imagine Rhymestyle can create new content, like he does his 3 Idiots videos where he plays with his friends and it's really entertaining. Now, I don't watch it. I've watched maybe 1 episode, but I don't follow it or anything because it's not my cup of tea. Seereax, he does his legendary box of battles content or whatever, and his I think he did some new called the Absorption series. He'll do that, which is entertaining to somebody. I mean, I've watched the episode, but me, I don't follow it, but it's entertaining to his audience. Instead of being like them and trying to present something new to the community that's actually unique, he'll just metadata abuse, metadata abuse, metadata abuse. And let's talk about how he tries to flex that he, Burko, and Slow Plays are, quote, making it in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, or doing it big in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, when in reality, all their channels perform below standard, below the bare minimum, subpar, substandard. And the only reason that YouTube even recommends their channels on the first page of search for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is because of that channel authority thing that just says that, oh, you got 250,000 subscribers, you've been tossing out bullcrap content for like 4 years, we're just gonna rank you here. But number 2, and more importantly, is because Rhymestyle and Seereax don't regularly upload Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 content, because when they were around, Steedoj, Cabby, Burko, and Slow Plays couldn't even think about being on the first page, because guess what? Seereax and Rhymestyle actually entertained their audiences, and they took away numbers from those frauds. That's why. Just think about it, right? The algorithm just let Burko, Cabby, Steedoj, and Slow Plays rank on top just because those two weren't around. Really? So that's what you're trying to flex with. It's like you're flexing off of benefiting off of the vacuum left behind by Rhymestyle and Seereax's absences. Seriously, that's all. That's your big flex on everyone in the community. It's like a paper champion in boxing or MMA or something. Imagine the real champions retired or they left the sport, and then the commission, in this case being the algorithm, just picks someone out at random at default, oh, hey, you got the bigger sub number, there you go. Or hey, I guess you were the second place boxer or the second place fighter. You didn't fight or earn this place. You're not better than the other guy. We're just gonna give it to you because they're not here right now. You never made better content than them. Never. It's like, no, I can think of a better metaphor, right? Imagine, like, you know how none of these new games are coming out, like Multiverses or Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, whether you like them or not. Notice how those games didn't come up until Super Smash Bros. Said that they weren't going to make any more new DLC. So, like, the community for it, like, it's still there, but they're no longer active. And then magically after that, all these new platformers came up. That's basically them. Like, that's essentially them. So, like, you're bragging about benefiting off of, you know, their absence. Why didn't you exceed them? Why didn't you make better content? Like, seriously, you never overwhelmed them. You just waited for the bar. Yeah, Steedoj, Cabby, Burko, and Slow Plays just waited for the bar to be lowered so they could benefit. Like, your whole entourage is just the entourage of mediocrity. Like, you just came in, picked the bones. And this is why no matter where you go online, really, whether it be on GameFAQs, Twitter, Reddit, any Discord server that is like Xenoverse 2 community Discord server, when people talk about Xenoverse 2 content creators, they always say the same thing. Rhymestyle and Seereax, damn, they're entertaining, they're good, they're informative, they actually bring some quality to the community. But damn, Steedoj, Burko, Cabby, and Slow Plays are trash. Those people, oh god, oh, not their content. Man, the community just went down when we have to look at these people on the first page. That's the Xenoverse, that's not me saying that. That's the Xenoverse 2 community saying that. That's why you don't go those places. That's why you try to get in your little echo chambers of Discord servers. That's why you try to block everyone that calls you out for putting on your fake matches. Burko does it too. He blocks everyone that calls him out. You block everyone that calls you out. You block me for calling you out. You do it to everyone because you want your echo chamber, your little safe space, boy. You can't handle conflict. You can't handle being called out for your garbage. You'll just sit up there and block people because that's how you lead your life. When things get tough, you run away. That's what you do. And I mean, let's talk about that channel authority, that little thing that allows Steedoj and others like him to coast, even though they have no entertainment value, no informative value, nothing to give the audience. It allows them to occupy the first page of search for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Let's talk about that, because there's been occasions where both me and him have been in different communities where neither of us have had any channel authority, and I usurped and surpassed him. Let's talk about a little game called Demon Slayer. Now, regardless of your opinion of the game, both of us uploaded content on it, and I mean, I seem to recollect that the last video that I posted on Demon Slayer talking about Daki coming into the game got just under 100k views. Right now it's sitting at just under 100k views. When you look at all the videos that Steedoj did, this sucker only got, well, like 10k views, 15k views, 20k views. He got one that popped for 40, and that's it. It's all, like, he's just the same Steedoj mark of mediocrity, but when you stripped away the little channel authority that he had, he couldn't perform. Like, that's just it right there. Those are facts. Just go look at the numbers. Quick, before he tries to private his Demon Slayer videos, go look at his numbers. Go look at the video that I did on Daki. Completely, like, overwhelmed him, overtook him, buried him. He couldn't do anything because his content is pathetic. And I mean, don't just look at those views. Look at the views on all of his content. Look at the views on his Xenoverse 2 content. Now, I'm a specialist at looking at analytics. That's what I do. I'm a YouTuber. I'm supposed to look at the analytics, the numbers, and I'm about to do some quick maths here. Now, let's look at Steedoj's video. Let's look at every Steedoj video, and it typically stops at around 15k. Sometimes he might pop a 20k. Sometimes he'll even get a 25k, and that's after like 4 or 5 months of the video being on the platform, not in the span of a week, mind you, just in the span of like 4 or 5 months, and the video goes completely dead. I wonder why that is. It seems suspicious. I mean, then you got to get to the time where, he'll pop a 40k. Like, the last time he popped a 40k was when DLC 14 got officially confirmed, and he did a little live stream ripping off the Ultra Instinct Goku Kantan City TV trailer, and he got a 40k for that. But, this might explain why he and other content creators, the xenofrauds, the entourage of mediocrity. It might explain why every time there's a long drought of no Xenoverse 2 news, they sweat, they get afraid, they're scared because they can't go anywhere else. He can't go anywhere else. You know, that's the time where he might get only 5K views a video as a 200. Now the reason that's bad is because he's a 250K channel. How are these your numbers? How are these your numbers? And then right after the DLC hype kind of cooled down, like right after DLC 14 kind of cooled down, his numbers plummeted. It went from that sweet little 40K and it plummeted right back down to 15K to that little 25K view range. Mind you now, this is him still uploading the bread and butter content that all those subscribers supposedly subscribe to him for. I mean, isn't that weird? I mean, it gets even worse. It gets even worse because we're going to do some real math here. Now, when you look at those numbers, 15K, 20K, 25K, you got to cut those numbers in half unless he wants to tell us that only people sub to him or watching him. Like that, because that would be bad. That would mean that he's getting no new engagement. He's not getting any new people subscribing to him. So I'm just going to do a number. I'm going to say 50. So let's say that out of that 15K, only 7.5 people are subscribed to him that are actually watching that. That's terrible. I mean, only 7.5K people showed up out of the 250,000 people you have? I mean, you got 20K views, but only 10K people of those were subscribed that actually watched that video. So out of that big, lofty 250K number that you got by your name, you're only getting 10K of those people watching? And this is what they sub to you for? Like, I could see if this was really something abstract that had nothing to do with what you actually upload on a regular basis, but I mean, this is your bread and butter content. And those are your numbers. You get that 25K, okay, so let's say 25K, let's say you got, what, 12K views, 12.5? I don't know, bruh, 12.5 out of 4 months of being on the platform, only 12.5K people out of your subscribers actually watched that. And then the rest was just like, oh, well, we clicked on this by accident, okay. I don't know, bro. I don't think I want to be here. And then it's like only when it's a hot topic. Only when it's a hot topic, like when it's Xenoverse 2 DLC, will he actually get higher numbers than that. So that 40K is actually really just 20K of his subscribers actually finally paying attention to him. I mean, it's a bad look. It's a bad look either way you slice it, because if you want to say that all those people are new, then your subs aren't pulling up. If you want to say all those people are your subscribers, that just means nobody is new popping up. You know, those numbers ought to be bigger. Realistically, you ought to be getting higher views than what you have subscribers. Realistically, I like how they try to enforce that rule against people they don't like, though. Like they'll talk about other small YouTubers, man, they don't really get views. Like, okay, well, you're talking about other people, the small YouTubers, like you're trying to stunt on a person with 500 subs or 1,000 subs or 5K subs only getting what, like 1,000 views. Of course, that's within their sub range, but you're a 250,000 sub channel and look at what you do. While you're trying to talk about other people in the community that actually waste their time watching you. I'm just saying, I'm just saying it's a bad look, because it means that nobody new is looking at you. Nobody looks. And I mean, hey, it would further expose, that just further exposes that 250K sub being a bunch of bots with a few real people sprinkled in. Just a few. And I mean, another reason that nobody wants Steedoj here in the Xenoverse 2 community is that he himself has said it multiple times that he hates the game and he doesn't want to be here. Well, I mean, if your subs were all real and actually supported you and not the game that you were on, like they support Seereax and Rhymestyle regardless of the game that they're on, maybe you'd be able to go off to another game. Maybe you would get higher views than 3K views after 4 or 5 months, or 5K views after 4 or 5 months as a 250,000 subscriber channel. But I mean, that's what happens when you bot yourself to like 240K subs and you haven't had significant growth in years. And I mean years. He bought those subs back in 2019 or 2020 and they haven't moved at all. It's just like Cabby infinitely being stuck at like 150K in that sub range, and he didn't move for years. And I mean, it's like saying, like, it's glaringly obvious that you botted your following. Is glaringly obvious by your Twitter engagement. Like, if you're a 250K sub channel, your Twitter engagement ought to be higher, your YouTube engagement ought to be higher, but it's not, because you thought you could buy your way to success. I mean, I think I've said everything that I want to say about Steedoj for now. Steedoj, his tale is one of a grifter who a few years ago got lucky and found the Xenoverse 2 community. And he got it early going, and he decided to go down that path of buying subs. And for a time, it got him the validation that he so sorely desired that he wasn't getting from his mommy and daddy or any women in his life. Have you seen those Steedoj incel rants, by the way? They're hilarious.
I don't want to get fucking sexist or anything, right? But why would I ever risk a chance of my life being destroyed because some fucking idiot made some shit up? Oh, I can get away with it because I have a vagina. Why the fuck would I ever want to do that? Oh, yeah. No, why the fuck would I ever want to do that? Seriously, why ever?
Being a woman in the Western world is like easy mode.
There is zero fucking bias in that. That is literally what I'm fucking seeing. That is what I'm seeing. That is what you are seeing. That's what everyone is seeing. There is no fucking bias in that. It's just the truth. Just fucking look at it.
Anyways, guys, that's been the Steedoj Exposed World Tour Part 1. Yes, there's going to be an episode 2, a Part 2. There's going to be more. There's going to be more content coming out because this is just the tip of the iceberg with this guy. That's just a very tippy top that we've gone over. So I want you guys to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, send those thumbs up into the sky, and give Perfection Sama all that energy, all that love, all that support and admiration for the Perfection Sama Genkidama. And I'll see you on the next stop of the Steedoj Exposed World Tour.